Hello and welcome to another Zach Carnage video, and today we have another meta duel for you. This time it's Paleozoic Frogs against DDD. So I'm going to be on the left playing the Paleozoics, John once again is on the right playing the DDD, so let's get into it. So we start off with a Spot Frog, sending a Spot Frog and then returning itself to the hand, and then just setting for pretty standard opening for Frogs.
It's a trap!
Unless you see double water. So as soon as DDD enters standby phase, Morella sends another Morella, just to get some fuel into the graveyard and set up for the turn, essentially. So DDD open up with a 7 Kepler, which can obviously search a gate, being a Stratos for the entire deck, pretty much. Gate is then activated, and a Swell Slime added to the hand, so this is easy fusion access. So the Swell Slime is activated, response is of course a Dimensional Barrier calling Fusion, so that green slime will just stay in the hand, and it's followed up by a double set and a pass. So in the end phase I activate Wabaku. The response from DDD is a DD Crow, unfortunately, which banishes a Spot Frog, so it means that I can't use the Morella as a chain onto that. So play passes, I open up the Spot Frog again, seeing if I can advance the engine a little bit further. So this time I send a Ronin Toad into the grave, and then follow up by a Reckless Greed. So I don't believe there's a response to this. Oh no, the response is a Dark Contract with the Witch, so I can just chain the Morella to that and summon it anyway. But that Dark Contract essentially acts as a Raigeki break, so we have to watch out for that. So the Ophibinia gets summoned, and then immediately in comes the Dark Contract with the Witch in order to take it out. So John discards a Kepler in order to deal with it. So I chain a Canadia for using the effect of Ophibinia to flip over the 7 Kepler, which means I can activate the Morella in grave. So I don't run out of board presence entirely because I'm still able to activate that card from hand at the time. So the Desires allows me to open up a little bit more, and because the Frog was put in grave, we can summon the Rodent Toad in. So now we have rank 2 access for the Paleozoics. So the rank 2 that gets summoned is the Ophibinia again. However, its effect has not been used this turn, so detaching the Ronin Toad means that we can search any of the Paleozoic traps from the deck. Best target at this point seems to be a Leon Qualia. So activate that, returning a Swap Frog and chaining on the Canadia so that we can get out the Ronin Toad and the Canadia again. And this gives us rank 2 access, so a Totally Awesome comes out to play. After 1 set, actually 2 set, play passes back to DDD, and before the Swap Frog can activate, we're going to see the Dark Contract come in again. So this is pre-standby phase during the draw phase. So discarding a Swirl Slime in order to deal with the Toad, and then the Toad will add back, I believe, the Ronin Toad in. And then DDD follow up with just 1 set, I believe. I think he's a bit low on resources at this point. But he does have Gate, which will enable searches. So Gate searches out the Necro Slime, and he can start pulling things back again. So that's Dark Contract with the Swamp King coming out, followed up by a Max C, which limits things a little bit, but out comes the Dark. And it gets followed up by a Compulse, and then a Canadia chained onto that. And the Frogs are pretty far ahead at this point, so what's actually going to happen is that DDD will scoop and will go into Game 2. So pretty hard fought in Game 1. But obviously cards are being sided in now for Game 2, so we'll see what happens, and the turn priority gets switched up, so DDD will start with opening up gate for a Swell Slime. Once again, Swell Slime will be activated, sending a Necro Slime as well, in order to summon a Dark from the extra deck. Now, the hand that John described to me wasn't actually particularly good in this instance, so he actually just sets one with the Dark and passes. So I draw for the turn and then end up setting 5, but a Twin Twisters will take up 2 of the back row, being a Leon Qualia and a Breakthrough skill. So that's pretty painful at this point, because I don't have much in the back row that's going to be able to actually advance my game at this point. So during John's turn, he'll search out a Lamia with the Gate, which is easy synchro summon for Siegfried, and that's going to be struck. So that he won't be able to bring it back with a Soul Charge or any of the DDD effects. But he can still activate cards in the grave, so he uses the Necro Slime to fuse, getting rid of that wasted Siegfried so that he can bring out a Beowulf, which is pretty tough on its own. So when it goes to attack, I respond with Dynamiscus, targeting it for the effect, and then chaining the Leon Qualia so that I can summon it from the grave. So I believe I discard a second Dynamiscus there in order to deal with that. So both of us are on very low resource states at this point in the game. He does have the ability to come back a bit, whereas I'm kind of low without any of the frogs. I've actually discarded a Ghost Reaper there. So being able to only set cards and then being blown out by Twin Twisters there's not messes that can be done, so essentially at this point I said to John, if he can form an OTK in some way, then he's going to take the game here. Because he knows there's nothing in my hand, you can see my entire grave, and he knows I've just got a Leon Qualia on board, so he's going to go through, push with the Dark, and the Ragnarok summon from the green slime means that he'll be able to get an additional summon from the grave. So there's a Kepler and a Swamp King contract, which means another fusion as well. So there's quite a lot of stuff he's able to put on board in that turn, and it's enough to wipe out my life points. So we go ahead into game 3. So Frogs will be taking a turn 1 again. Opening up the Swap Frog once again, but unfortunately no Wombo combos here. So just sending another copy of Swap Frog and actually setting 2, because the hand is kind of painful at this point, unfortunately. But we'll see how it pans out. So John opens up the Pot of Desires. 2 additional cards are always nice. And I don't believe he banished too many of his combo pieces, so he'll still be able to play the game, which is always good. Especially when you're playing a deck which can play 3 of all of the key cards, which there are quite a few of at the moment. So he gets a Gate. Gate will add the Swell Slime. Ignore the reveal cards there. I didn't actually see them, and it was just an accident with some cards being dropped. So the Swell Slime will activate, and I have no response to this, so he's going to fuse with the Necro Slime. This will give him access to a Genghis. There's no response to the Genghis summon itself, and a Copernicus comes out, in order to send the Lamia to the grave to open up the plays. So it's already looking like he's going to have a fair few things that he can do. Ragnarok gets put into the scales. And the green slime summons the Kepler, but a DD Crow will target the Lamia when Ragnarok attempts to summon it from grave, so Lamia will get banished with Ragnarok activated, and the Kepler will add the Swamp King contract, which allows the fusion summons. So out comes the Swamp King contract, and the summon will be made with the Copernicus and the I believe it's a Ragnarok in hand, in order to summon the Beowulf. And when he goes to attack, Canadia will flip the Beowulf, but I'll take that 2k from the Genghis. So during my turn, I summon out a Swap Frog. I've now got some fuel in the grave, which is pretty good, so I can send a Ronin Totem down. And then follow up with the Desires, because obviously I wanted the Ronin Totem into the grave before it gets banished, which would be a little bit unfortunate. It's looking okay so far. This is followed up by a Reckless Greed. This is a bit of a misplay on my part, because he interrupts the Canadia response by banishing the Rodent Totem. Really, I should have forced it first by trying to activate Rodent Totem first. But it's okay, we return the Swap Frog to hand with its effect. And next we'll be able to special summon it by discarding the Dupe Frog and sending, I believe, the second Rodent Totem down to the grave. So we don't currently have any Paleozoics that can actually form any decent summon series, because we can't activate them as spells without the Oppibinia, so we summon the Totally Awesome and just set 3 and pass. Having taken out the Genghis, of course, in the battle phase. So during the standby phase, we summon out the Dupe Frog, the Paleozoics. That means that the DDDs will only be able to attack the Dupe Frog unless they can get rid of it or force the Totally Awesome to negate by sending the Dupe Frog. John is a little bit low on cards here. He does have the Search with the Gate, which is pretty nice. So he gets out a Ragnarok. Then he can fuse using the Swamp King contract in order to summon Dark. I make a bit of a misplay here because I actually have a Dimensional Barrier set, but I completely missed the fact that he's been attempting to fusion summon because I was very distracted by my phone at the time. So I flip the D-Barrier when he tries to activate the Ragnarok Chain in Canadia so that he won't be able to summon the second Ragnarok from grave and make a rank 8 this turn. Because we really fear the Kali Yuga play, being that it's one of the most powerful cards against Paleozoics. Just being able to negate everything on field and then wipe back row at any point is kind of ludicrous for the deck. So when he goes to activate the Necro Slime, the response, of course, is to negate with the Totally Awesome. And we're just verifying the fact that he will only be able to do half damage this turn because the effect of Ragnarok has activated, and it has reduced the damage to half. Even though D-Barrier came up, the effect itself was not negated, so it must resolve as much as possible. So he enters the battle phase and attempts to attack Dupe Frog with Dark. The response is a Dynamiscus, discarding Swap Frog in order to banish Beowulf so that he won't be able to do any piercing damage. So we move into a replay, and the question is, does he want to attack the Dupe Frog now? It's very debatable at this point because it will allow me an additional search, which essentially gives Rodent Totem extra fuel. So during the end phase, we'll flip the Morella, sending a Morella, and when we enter my turn, I'll be able to make a plethora of plays that can actually deal with the board. I believe making an F-Zero Cat Shark and Digesto Phoenix combo, but unfortunately the camera, as you can see, cut out at that point, but it's very easy to make, and I'm sure if you have some understanding of Paleozoic, or if you want to go and check out what they can do, then you'll understand what's going on here. So as always, thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments or suggestions, you can leave those in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see in future Duel videos. Obviously we're moving into the Zodiac Beast format, or Zodiac Beast format. So there's a lot of interesting new cards and interactions that will be going on, and I'll be attending some regionals soon. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I feel paralyzed.